You've got continuous coverage of the World Players of Handball Foundation's Race for 8 Tour here in Denver, Colorado at the DAC. It's Abraham Montijo, the referee, up against, or I should say, officiating over John Iglesias. Vic Perez serving against John Iglesias this men's round of 16 as we are back live, the Race for 8 at the DAC in Denver, Colorado. Both players went to LFC college and they sparred together and now find themselves on the national scene in a pro stop. John Iglesias is having some major neck issues and unfortunately going to be bringing that up a lot here because he tweaked his neck at the airport by carrying some bags. And you can see now he's not moving. Could have been called with an avoidable for not getting out of the way there. Dave Fink predicted that this match would only last about 15 minutes. 14 minutes, I should say, based on the injury from John Iglesias, who's now making it known to everybody that he's injured.
Well, Dave, I say that because I hurt my neck about 3 weeks ago. I got a severe case of whiplash, and I couldn't do anything for about 6 days. And John telling me earlier, just before this match, you know, he didn't realize how much the neck and shoulder were connected. It's hard to even swing. And Dave, I hate to make it all about me, but I can remember playing Sean Lenning with a stiff neck in 3-wall, and I would have gotten killed anyway, but it was even worse.
Well, here's a guy who wants to be a physical therapist. He should probably know how the neck and shoulder works together. I would hope, since he does massage therapy and is into spiritual healing.
So
no, just informing.
I don't know.
Just informing.
No, it sounds like a judgment to me. I've judged and informed in my time, and I know the difference.
Okay. Well, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm trying to slight young John.
Well,
I was trying to slight you.
Oh, well, that makes it okay then. I'll take it out on you on the bumper pool table.
Can't wait not to go home tonight. I call that the Ruiz.
Huh.
I like that little push right there from Vic, and you see that maybe just by the way that he's acting, John Iglesias' neck bone is connected to his feet bone because he just really didn't want to run after that shot. That was also a slight toward you, but.
Well, you know, Dave, when you're injured, it's almost like you can't force yourself to move. Even though it might be your shoulder or neck that hurts, your feet also stop working.
The score is 1-4. He still has a nice lead.
Well, the thing with Vic, Dave, is he's not the kind of guy that's going to put his foot down in your throat. I mean, Vic's going to just keep on doing what he does, which is even keel. And let's not forget, Dave, these guys were roommates for 4 years, and my guess would be that Vic has never beat John. I mean, now I don't have that official statistic. I wasn't there for those 4-time-a-week practice matches, but I would think, as competitive as John is, that he's probably never lost to Vic. I know John's very proud to say he's never lost to Nikolai. And Vic's hitting the ball really well right now, Dave.
Well, that's what happens when John throws the ball up into the front wall and into the side wall. You just get these huge setups. Vic may not have ever defeated John before, but he's going to today. Unless John can find a way to work out that kink.
Side out.
It's a terrible side out right there. John Iglesias grew up in New York playing the one-wall game, and you see a lot of open hand splat type shots from him, but he does them with power. One of the few players that we see that has that style that will actually hit it really hard with an open hand. Sometimes he gets paddle crazy when he gets a little tired, but his paddle shots will vary between little tiny paddle dink shots and then the 80-mile-an-hour paddle shots. Kind of like Samson Hernandez in a
Side out.
small ball 4-wall court. Although I know you hate that comparison.
3-5.
And Dave, I can't tell you how uncomfortable, and I know you know this, but when you have that kind of neck injury, it's even worse than, say, a knee injury, where at least you can still swing if you are in position. But either way, when you're injured, it's just not a whole lot of fun.
Nice get right there from Iglesias.
And unfortunately, Dave, John will be fined his entire purse here, his incentive money and his prize money. And he was also fined $500 for retiring and coming out of retirement without taking at least one tournament off. That means we had to file and refile paperwork. And that cost us money. And Dave, John arrived at this tournament injured as an Elite 8 pro. That's actually against the rules. So he's now fined his entire purse here. He's fined the 500.
Well, he might be the first to get fined and then advance into the semifinals. Well, I don't know what you do then. Well, you're injured, but congratulations on getting $1,100
I had my best ever
guaranteed.
race result with a herniated disc, so I thought I was going to come there and lose to a lucky loser.
Score here is 8-5. John jumped out to a 4-0 lead quite quickly, and then since then you thought that maybe John would be able to warm up just a little bit, but the opposite of that took place. Vic looks like the one that's cranking the ball.
John just gave me a long look here in the broadcast booth, basically letting me know I'm not feeling it. Great
John
get
has
there
such
from
a
Vic.
different style of game that I think that a non-feeling it type game can still work for him.
John is still hitting the ball with some good pace, Dave. He ripped that last right-handed kill really well.
Well, I know some people that would just say, oh, this is just pain.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing I think, Dave, is when pain affects your swing, it becomes a little bit different. And I think right now John's feeling like his swing is being obstructed. And Dave, chances are, John, I can actually say this with certainty, if John loses this match, he will not be an invited player like he was here at the next stop in Salt Lake City. He will drop out of that Elite 8. Aaron Garner was just 0.25 points behind him in the rankings. Aaron Garner's already into the quarterfinals, which means he'll earn at least 1 full point more than John Iglesias here, which means Aaron Garner will be ranked ahead of John if John loses this match. Anthony Celestino could also move ahead of both Aaron and John with a big result here. And Dave, why don't we just stop speculating and just check out the official rankings here?
Okay.
I know how much you like to speculate.
Oh, I love speculation.
I knew that. Anthony Celestino would need to finish 1.1 points ahead of Aaron Garner in this event to become that part of the Elite 8 in Salt Lake City. Aaron Garner's already in the quarterfinals, which means Anthony Celestino would have to make the semifinals here and have Aaron Garner lose before the semifinals. Tall task.
Well, what about just defeating him in the playoffs, having a higher record?
Wouldn't be enough, because
Okay.
he's a full point. Anthony Celestino a full point behind Aaron Garner, even if he were to defeat him in the playoffs and earn the same number of points here. Now that could be a coin flip. They would be tied head to head.
I guess my point would be if they both lost in the quarterfinals, they would be in the 9 through 12 playoff.
No,
9 through 13?
the 5 through 8 playoffs. if they
Okay,
have
5
lost.
through 8.
Yeah.
And if Anthony took 5th and Aaron took 8th, for example,
Right.
could that be enough?
It would only if Anthony beat Aaron in that
Okay.
playoff, because right
All
now
right.
Aaron has the head-to-head. If they played each other and Aaron lost,
Right, I got it.
okay. Glad we sorted that out.
Well, I just wanted to let you know I was actually listening to you for once.
Okay. Well, when I get out the official rankings, things change. I become someone that you actually pay attention to. When I'm just a speculator, you're not quite as interested.
Speculator or a spectator, I'm not quite interested.
8-10.
I know you'll be interested in my match coming up here this afternoon.
Side out.
That is
10-8.
hoping that Andy Nett will advance his first ever semifinal. Terrible. It does make it, but John takes care of it. And you see John cringe after virtually every good shot, but he's hitting good shots.
Well, that's why I said it's just pain. I mean, if you're in there playing with pain,
Side out.
you've already accepted that it's going to hurt, so you might as well just go ahead and take the shots. It's either that or you just forfeit.
10-8.
What about wincing and complaining after every shot, but yet still playing? Where does that fall?
That's called a Dave Fink.
Oh, okay.
That's its own little bracket.
Okay.
Point.
Listen for the score here.
That was a great back wall shot from Vic Perez as he hugged that right side wall. Another beautiful back wall shot. Vic rips over the top of that shot with a big reverse.
12-8.
And Dave, I think that's the best shot on the revolving door. Just come over top of it with a huge reverse, hit it as hard as you can towards the right side wall.
You're watching the race for 8, and you see Yoga Master, the yogi, John Iglesias in there, stretching his neck. And, you know, for this injury that he has, he's still holding pretty true here at 11-8, actually down 8-11, but that's not too far away. Dave, you thought this would be about 14 minutes long. We're at our 21-minute mark right now, and these guys are not even at halftime yet.
12-8.
12-8 is the score.
Second.
Almost a double fault there from Vic Perez, and John takes care of a pretty poor second serve
8-12.
with
That
the
ball
left
almost
corner
hit the
kill.
back wall. Yeah.
What Jonathan has going for him in this match, Dave, is the mental edge over Vic. You know, you play a guy that you've never beat before, and even though you know he's hobbled a little bit, it's still difficult to get over that finish line.
I agree with that, and I would also say that as a secondary note, John does take in the rally a lot of shots where both feet are facing the front wall, and he uses his underhand paddle shots, which doesn't require a lot of neck movement. I mean, he's not going to be able to survive with that, although if I were to pick only 1 or 2 players in this tournament that could, he'd be the one that I'd throw into that list. That underhand paddle shot thing is sort of what he wants to do, so he doesn't have to use his neck as much. But I believe in order to beat Vic, he's going to have to turn sideways and take real strokes eventually. But he can probably hang within a couple points.
John's still giving that long look up here to the booth, Dave. I'll be sure not to wave or change my facial expression because I know how sensitive you get that a player might be distracted if I blink or stretch my arms.
Well, as the players rep, you're up here. These guys all look up to you, Dave.
10-12.
They confide in you, they advise with you, they scheme and they plan. And then when you're standing there with your gloves on waving, during the serve, they stop what they're doing because
Well-
they know what you mean to them.
Well, I actually agree that they are looking up to me because as you can see us in the booth here, they're looking up into the right side glass, and that's where we're located. So they are technically looking up to me right now. So that was true.
We're having some technical difficulties with this feed, and we do apologize, but we're just working out some kinks.
Careful there. Let's not use that offensive language here on this broadcast.
Working out some kinks.
Oh, okay.
All right, time in. 11-12.
John Iglesias just 1 point away here,
Point.
and he gets it to tie in the score here at 12.
12-12.
And you know, as the game goes on, Dave, I can see how John could loosen up that neck as his endorphins kick in. And
John is hitting the ball extremely well with his left hand right now.
12-12. Point.
And there's an unforced error from Vic Perez. And what a win this would be if John is able to pull this match out.
it would be unbelievable, really.
I feel like you're not being 100% genuine in
Well,
that
I don't know how bad
superlative.
I don't know how bad the pain feels.
Tight out.
I'm assuming it's pretty bad because after every shot he's flexing his shoulder and his neck.
Does that help?
12-13.
I'm not sure.
Beautiful shot from Vic. A great get from John. John moves right in front of him, and I think he changed Vic's shot there.
13-12.
John does like to play close, Dave.
Thank you. Point.
And now, Dave, believe it or not, John
13-12.
could be taking a pretty nice lead here into halftime.
Second. That's half.
And we are at halftime. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick around for
You'll be serving.
the second half right after this at racerate.com. We are back in Denver, Colorado. My name is Dave Vincent. Thank you for tuning in. Lost the sounds from the referee, but maybe that's because he hasn't turned the microphone on. We are coming back in after halftime, and John Iglesias here found himself down pretty big because of a sore neck that he tweaked at the airport. Vic Perez, though, playing very strong, but John somehow just hanging in pretty tough. And 12 to 15. And there is a point to Vic Perez. John Iglesias serving here. Cannot hear the referee's microphone, but we can hear ourselves through our headsets. But when we turn the referee's microphones on, we then can't hear ourselves. So I guess that's just the way it is. Joining me in the booth is Aaron Garner, double A-Ron. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I see that you've made it back into the quarterfinals, one of these pro stops. Congratulations as we watch Vic Perez and John Iglesias having some technical difficulties with our headsets. And the best thing to do is just put the ear out. There we go. Now we're set.
Okay.
You played both of these guys. Are their styles somewhat similar in a way?
Oh, they couldn't be more different. I think, Vic's more of a guy with a sword and shield, and Iglesias is more of a guy who'll just stay up front, and he's pretty good with both of his hands. So I also think Vic's a little bit more defensive than Iglesias. Jesus.
Okay. Well, I'm fortunate not to have to play either. Would you consider your style to be a little bit more like Vic Perez?
Yeah, I guess a little bit more so. I probably have a little bit more sword and shield, like, play more defense with my left, a little bit more offense with my right. But I would like to play more like Iglesias in the future. Staying up front, dumping balls, doing that kind of game.
You might want to move to New York for just a few months and learn that one-wall game, because you can see that John certainly has done that. I mean, he's up front. He kind of dictates what's going on in the court. And when he's back here, he's still effective. But see how he runs up here. And then he has these paddle shots that are quite effective, other than that one right there that I was about to say.
Yeah, his dump game does not look on today.
Well, he's got this tweaked neck, and we're all together at 15. This match already 33 minutes long. Now, you played Mike Schneider earlier today, who's trying to break into the pro circuit, and mainly a big ball and small ball one-wall player out of New York, who also crosses over and does some three-wall small ball, and then now indoor four-wall. He was tough for the first 6 points or so, and even probably 10 to 10-ish, pretty difficult. He looked so smooth in there, and his left-handed corner kill was working, but then it looked like you wore him down. The altitude, maybe some conditioning took effect, and you came through. How did that match go for you?
That match was not what I expected. I know that Mike was a good one-waller, and I just really I didn't think he would give me much if I gave him a lot of shots off the back wall and just played good defense. But, I mean, he kind of slowed the game down. He played much better than I thought he played yesterday against Chip in the first half, at least. So, yeah, he surprised me, and his kill shots are so precise and low, not even worth going after him.
Yeah, it's the way that the New Yorkers are able to hit a ball and go over the top and keep it flat on the front wall, which is something that I think, we wish we all could develop. It's sort of that Luis Moreno style, where or Sean Lenny, where you're flattening balls out from standing flat-footed. But certainly it was enjoyable to watch you guys battle it out. But your conditioning is so good right now, Aaron, that I believe that you made the altitude go after Mike Schneider, because you kept him in these longer rallies. I don't know if that's part of your game, but
it is when I'm playing bad. When I'm playing very poorly, sometimes you just got to grind it out. And luckily, he did get tired. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I would have lost that match. So,
well, so you have newfound respect then for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say his game's a lot better than I thought it would be, especially off the back wall. He was making good kill shots, and I was pretty sloppy with my defense. He's putting balls down, so yeah, I was definitely impressed.
Well, for those at home watching this live broadcast, it's John Iglesias in the blue shirt and Vic Perez in the black. And just to kind of get you up to speed, they were tied at 15 here just a moment ago, with John Iglesias having a severe back and neck injury, and he's trying to play through it. And we now have in the booth Aaron Garner, Dave Fink also joining us.
Aaron, we talked a little bit about this during the first half, but how difficult is it to go in there and play injured, particularly when you've got that sort of neck and shoulder injury where you just feel like you're not even yourself. It's hard to turn your head. It's hard to swing exactly the way you want to. But, you know, you're here. You know, you came all the way to Denver, and you just got to try and just do the best that you can.
Yeah, it's very tough mentally and physically. I mean, in all honesty, if I'm that injured, I probably wouldn't even play. But, I mean, he seems like he's doing well. Maybe it's not as bad as he's telling us, but I think he's moving around decent enough. But yeah, it's very difficult playing with an injury, and it's very demoralizing too, because you know you're not giving your best, and you can't give your best. So.
And you experienced that in the last event in Alaska, where you didn't really tell anybody, but you found out that you're suffering from a pretty severe groin strain that you injured in Houston. But you know, it's an honor to be invited to these events, and you feel like, you know what, maybe I'll feel better once I get on the court. You know, you hate to sit at home and say, you know what, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I could be there in Denver or Alaska and didn't go, so you feel like obligated to take that chance. And then sometimes your body just doesn't cooperate.
Oh yeah, it was really tough. But I think the main thing about that injury was it was pretty much healed up by the time I got there. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have gone. But it was just really tough in the preparation 2 weeks out, just not being able to play and having to take certain shots with my left hand very differently than I normally would. And so that was probably the hardest thing, was just the preparation, then showing up and expecting to just play well. Didn't end up working out very well.
17-16.
Ooh.
Aaron, there's a battle for that 8th invite spot in Salt Lake City between you, John Iglesias, and Anthony Celesto, really the top 3 front runners for that last spot. Right now you're in a very commanding position. In fact, Anthony would pretty much have to make the semifinals here based on your minimum quarterfinal showing. And, you know, of course you could go even farther than that, but does that weigh on your mind coming in here? Do you look at the rankings and think about where you need to be, you know, in terms of ranking points to get that automatic invite to Salt Lake City?
Sometimes I do, but I mean that depends a lot on how other people play. I'm just trying to focus on how I'm playing. It is in the back of my mind sometimes, though, even when I know it shouldn't be. Yeah. Just trying to win every match. It's really difficult coming in just cold and playing your first match against a really tough opponent. I liked it better whenever I was playing the qualifiers and got a couple good warm-up matches.
Better when you're invited.
That is absolutely correct.
So you gotta take the bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't hear the score from the referee. We can't hear each other in the headsets, but we can see a nice crystal clear HD coverage of this court here.
Vic looks really good to me in this event. Aaron, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch him, but he's hitting the ball extremely hard. I mean, he barely got through his first round match against the grizzled veteran, Andy Shad, and then he did take out the Hall of Famer, John Bike. But this is what Vic does. He plays close matches, and he seems to maintain his nerves late in matches.
Yeah, he's very impressive. He's one of those guys that can have a bad first round and turn around and do really well later on.
But I think even though he's moving his feet, Dave, it seems to me that he's overhitting the ball, and John's still able to keep in this game and also track balls down and kill him. I mean, Vic is playing good, don't get me wrong.
Seems like you are. I am getting you wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's putting as much pressure as he could. These two guys are old Lake Forest buddies, so it'll be, I wonder if that has some sort of effect on how well or how hard Vic is trying at some points.
Well, I think it affects one player. I mean, one of the guys wants to beat the other one, but the other one, you know, might want to feel a little, you know, loose. You know, it's kind of how it is, maybe between you and your brother, Alan. Aaron, I'm not sure what your relationship is, but when you play him, if you're just thinking this is my brother and I don't want to go give him everything I have, or maybe you go the opposite way and go a little obsessively, you know, too much, hitting the ball too hard. I don't know how it is, but
I mean, yeah, it depends on the day, but I think most of the time I'll definitely give him hell for the first 10 points, and then after that it's just kind of like I don't know if I stop focusing or, you know, he gets more comfortable, but it seems like we play pretty close for parts, but then it's definitely a mental factor in there.
Well, I think this matchup is somewhat similar because I don't think Vic has ever beat John in all the times they've played, and I don't know if you've beat Alan before, but how difficult would it be, you know, to play Alan knowing that you haven't had a lot of success, and now he might be injured, so you're thinking, here's my chance. You put more pressure on yourself. Do you change your game because, you know, he might be a little bit compromised physically?
I think I have a problem whenever I know someone's injured. Sometimes I kind of let up, which is, God, that's the biggest mistake you can make. You should really go after him, but I think sometimes I kind of let up.
20 years from now, when they look at the scorecard, they don't even know about injuries. They just see the
That's
score.
right.
That's the way I look at it. I'm always 20 years of looking back.
Heard you had an interesting qualifying match.
Well,
it had to do with that as well.
Back in 2013. I heard that was an injury. Oh, the only person that would bring that up would be Dave Fink, who would remember everything. But
I want to talk about the great match you played this morning. Outstanding playing today. You really surprised me.
Thank you.
The fact that you were able to play in a full suit, but you kept your blazer on, so you didn't get fined for it.
My shirt underneath doesn't have a logo. We don't hear the referee's microphone. See how John puts himself into position there. But we don't hear the microphone, and I thought I read lips, and I thought I saw 18 to 18.
That was a beautiful pass shot. I call that a one-wall hop pass.
Really? That's
it's pretty.
Say that again. What was it again?
I'm not going to actually.
Okay.
Lost my train of thought. I was actually wanting to congratulate Aaron on his upcoming niece. It's due tomorrow.
Due today.
Due today.
Yeah, it's happening today.
That's right.
At some point, I'm not really sure.
I think it's 20 to 18.
John just made a terrible error there with his left.
Well, I think John's not going to have any neck problems.
Oh.
Unless he loses this match.
Tremendous arm acceleration there from Vic. He just really can crank it up when he has to.
It does seem like that neck problems
Score here is
John right now.
The score here is 21 to 18. We're going to 25. We have some technical difficulties with this feed, and we apologize. And that's just a crack out right there. Referee's going to give a point. John will look up, but I don't know.
I think that might have been a hinder.
I actually think it was a down ball.
If it hits a crack, it's a crack. I mean, what else is going to happen? You're going to jump over there before it hits the wall?
I think he had a decent chance to get it.
Off the crack?
I think you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Well, it wasn't a rollout crack. Some cracks pop up.
Okay, so let me just write this down here. Aaron Garner not
an amazing get
to
there
referee.
from John Iglesias. That's the best shot of the tournament right there. Unbelievable. Diving in a full stretch, and he has the control to roll it out in the left corner.
It was amazing, Dave.
It was for those of us who saw it.
I saw it. It was in the left corner. Little paddle. Dive paddle. I was too busy writing down Aaron's name on the please don't referee any match ever again list that we have created here.
Yeah, I'm one of the best referees you guys have.
I haven't seen you ref.
I just never ref, so that's kind of the problem.
Well, I'm one of the best round of 16 players and pro stops ever.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry.
Really good. Thank you for pushing me so hard this morning. It's going to really help me out.
Well, this isn't all about you. That ball almost flew out of the stadium. Earlier today, we saw Andy Nett hit Abraham Montijo so hard. Abraham was serving. Andy's return of serve hit Abe right in the back, and it flew over the gallery into the other court and over the short line. As I was talking to Celesto afterwards, he said that ball almost made the front wall of the other court. And that was a nice kill right there from John Iglesias. Listen for the score here from the ref.
Okay, second timeout, 20 serving 22.
20 to 22, and now for the first time today, we can hear ourselves through the headset and hear the referee, so please don't move anything. I don't know if this is something we're doing back in the broadcast van or if it's Dave Fink leaning on a cord over here on the side of the table, but whatever it is, Dave, don't move. I'm sure this will be good for your game, and I know that's all about you. So for the rest of the match, could you just lean there, please?
Well, actually, right now I'm studying the race points. Aaron, if Paul Brady does not accept his invitation to Seattle, which I don't think he will, you're in the driver's seat now to take that 8th spot to the Players' Championship. I know that would mean a lot to you. That'd be the first time that two brothers have ever qualified for the Players' Championship in the history of the race. You've made a lot of firsts this year, Aaron. I'd like to be the first to congratulate you on that.
Oh, thank you.
I guess being the first ever qualifier.
Oh, look at that shot right there from John Iglesias. Sorry, David, that was beautiful. At this point in the game when he's serving at 20 to 22, going to 25, he just dove to the ground, punched it down the same wall, which is very hard to do. And now he's at 21 to 22.
And Aaron, I know that you're focused on your own game, but this match has a lot of implications as far as your invitation goes to Seattle and also to Salt Lake City. So, you know, you don't root against people, but maybe you don't root for people either in this circumstance. Terrible shot there from John.
Whatever Dave just said, Aaron, I'm sure you probably heard him talking. Here at the game, though, we see a side out.
Amazing dig there from Jonathan. And now Jonathan's back in control of the point, and Vic missed that by a half an inch. Unbelievable. How did John return that serve, Aaron?
I don't know. I thought it was 2, but maybe my eyes deceived me.
Oh, I didn't want to say it.
There's another ball hitting the back
Yeah,
of John.
maybe you saw it too.
The reason
I
why
did see it too.
Dave Fink is standing in that position is because we didn't have the monitor working for about 20 minutes.
I thought someone should be watching the match.
And so it was the only way we can see what was going on the court. I was actually calling play-by-play, and it was in the middle of a timeout.
Great 2-wall shot there from Vic. And Jonathan takes the revolving door left-handed from one knee and flat kills it. 36 feet.
Man, his neck does not seem to be bothering him right now. Seems like it's only after he misses a shot.
Well, he's also showing us how heroic he is that when he makes great shots, his neck hurts as well. So it's kind of like those in-between shots where he doesn't have so much problem.
Well, John's watching this right now, 2 months from now.
Yeah.
So hi, John.
Oh, great shot there from Vic.
And I'm just wanting him to know that I'm not part of that discussion
no,
right
you're
there.
not
I don't
at all.
want him to think that we're sliding him.
Well, John actually texts me after every event and asks me how he can watch the matches.
Okay, so well, maybe this only a week from now. So
Yeah. Well, no, you need a all-access pass
Okay.
a week from now. So he texts me and he can watch him about 3 weeks later.
okay, so this is 3 weeks in. So
Yeah, 3 weeks.
hi, John.
Yeah, well,
There
still
you go.
low. It's nice
Okay.
to have him. Oh,
Whoa.
an amazing shot. And that time, Aaron, that was the shield that flat kills at a crucial moment here.
That's not to be expected, but that's nice. Very nice shot.
23 to 22 is the score.
What a match. Incredible.
And if Vic scores here, the best that John can do is a overtime victory.
Well, John's been in overtime this season. And that could have been avoidable there. And it's
Up.
Oh, and Abe calls it, and I think that's the right call.
It was late, but I think it had to be late because all of a sudden Vic gets upset and hits the ball on the ground. John is arguing, and Abraham just goes back to the right call and just says that was an avoidable.
That's the right call.
But that's a tough one at 23 to 22, and Vic says, handball gods are watching this match.
Don't get
Handball
Vic
gods
mad.
disagree.
Did you see that swing
Well,
that Vic put on that?
He brought out the
absolutely
shield and the
incredible.
sword on that one.
Actually, that was the sword.
He put the shield away and brought out the sword. I'm getting verbiage from Aaron over here.
Aaron is the best announcer in this booth, so maybe you should be taking some more notes than you actually are.
Well, you can be the best announcer by not even talking, which Aaron is doing well at.
Well, whatever he said has been wonderful. Amazing shot there from Vic,
Sorry
and
to
now, Dave, he is at match point. Vic Perez now on the verge of his second ever quarterfinal finish here in the race tour. This is the best I've seen Vic play, Dave. I think ever. I think this is even better than he played against Shanks. I mean, this
Well,
is
he played Alan Garner pretty tough, and there he is. He goes into the quarterfinals, and the crowd puts their hands together for Vic Perez, who defeats John Iglesias by the score of 25 to 22. For Aaron Garner, Dave Fink, Linda Manning, Veronica Green, Lolita, and yours truly, Dave Vincent. We were going to have a break and then be back in just a bit, although I think you want to ask or say one final thing to our guessed double Aaron.
Well, I didn't actually. I just was giving him instructions on how to place his headset down.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, I did have.
Stick around. More action in just a bit.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.